just one of the heroes from today, showing so much compassion, so much love in those moments, and so much strength, guiding those children through a very, very difficult situation.
She's a remarkable young lady, and the parents of those kids that she ushered through this horrible experience have a lot to thank her for tonight. We thank her as well. We want to take you back out to the scene in Newtown because there's a second crime scene out there where a gunman lived with his mother whom he killed, a teacher at the school, killed at the house, shot her before he went on his rampage. Jim Hoffer has been outside today and watched this unfold. Jim, at first we didn't know who was in that house. There might have been two bodies. You thought, your sources were telling you there was one, and then we found out that it was indeed Adam Lanza's mother. Jim?
That's right. Law enforcement officials are now saying that indeed it was the mother, that Adam Lanza sometime this morning walked up to the second floor to a bedroom in the Lanza family home here on Yogadanda Avenue here in Sandy Hook and shot his mother in the face, killing her. He then got into the car, loaded with a small arsenal, semi-automatic rifles and handguns, drove the 5 miles from the family home here to the elementary school in Newtown, and according to law enforcement, carried out that massacre. If we take a look at the video just taken just a few minutes ago, you can see that there is still quite a strong state police presence here in this neighborhood. We are told that the mother's body is still on the second floor of the home. That body was discovered this morning, and when state police found the body, they immediately fanned out over this neighborhood, evacuating people because they didn't know at the time exactly what they were dealing with. So they evacuated the families. Many of them are back in their homes tonight, including the McDades. They knew the Lanza family, and here's what they had to say.
They seemed just like another family out early in the morning, bringing their kids to the bus stop, and just waiting for the day. Nothing struck any of us or struck me anyway, as being unusual or abnormal or anything like that.
I just never really noticed him with anybody. I don't know about any of relationships he had with people or anything like that. Just didn't know him very well.
We could tell you that the mother and father divorced in 2008, 4 years ago. We were told that the father lives in Stamford. But before that, the Lanzas, raised their family for the most part here in Sandy Hook, in this rather affluent development. And they were here for well over 10 years. So you consider then that the Lanza brothers, Adam included, they were educated here by the very school district in which we are told now by law enforcement that Adam Lanza went to and left a horrific historic mark that the school district and this community will have to bear forever. Back to you.
Okay, Jim Hoffer reporting. We now want to turn it to Hoboken, where Sarah Wallace is located right now. Sarah, what's the latest from your location?
Well, Sade and Bill, there has been so much fluid information today. What we can tell you tonight is that Adam Lanza's older brother, Ryan, who is 24, is being questioned inside the police precinct here. He is not in custody. He is just being questioned. He may also be with his father or a couple of roommates. There have been some conflicting information about that. Earlier today, there was a massive police presence nearby at 1313 Grand Street, where Ryan Lanza lives. Again, there was conflicting information. It was initially thought that he was the shooter, not his younger brother. So police swept in, federal agents swept in. The Jersey City bomb squad was there. They cordoned off a several block area until they could search that apartment. Now, apparently, some of the confusion may have been that Adam Lanza, the younger brother, the alleged shooter, might have been using his older brother Ryan's identification, and that's why there was some initial confusion about who was the shooter. Again, we believe now that it was Adam. And Ryan Lanza, who is being questioned here, apparently sent out a couple of tweets saying, "It's not me, it's not me." So again, we're waiting here for the older brother Ryan to be let out. Hopefully he will have some answers to this unanswerable act. Live from Hoboken, Sarah Wallace, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, you know, Sarah, I got some tweets from him. Some of his friends from college were sending me the tweets saying, I'm alive, I don't know what you all are talking about. And so it got very confusing, and it unfolded as you were on the air throughout the afternoon. The ID question is an important one, right? Did Adam Lanza have his brother's ID with him? That's why police thought it was him at first.
Absolutely, Bill. You know, and that kind of makes some sense because when we got here, there was so much confusion. In fact, we were told that there might be a body inside the apartment in Hoboken. We were also told that there might be explosives and bombs, and that's why they kind of cordoned off the entire area and swept it. And until this evening, actually, we were told that perhaps there was still a body there and they were keeping it under wraps. Again, we are now confirming that that wasn't the case. But, you know, so much confusion about that identification, and so there was, you know, understandable information that was put out that the other brother was the shooter, the one who's being questioned here.
Yep.
Well, this is still very much a fluid situation, Sarah, and of course we are still getting updates as we speak. As our audience is learning information, so are we. So Sarah, thank you so much, and we'll be checking back in with you a little later.
Sarah Wallace from Hoboken. We want to go back to Newtown, Connecticut, and inside right now we have the first pictures from that vigil in the United Methodist Church, a memorial service where an entire community, the town of Newtown in Connecticut, just 65 miles from New York City, but we feel much closer than that to these people right now. They are there sharing their collective grief and trying to somehow make sense of what is inexplicable and so very senseless. This inside the United Methodist Church. Thousands of people, according to Matt Kozar, who's outside. Many of them cannot get in, obviously. And they are there. You just see the grief on their faces.
They just need to be around others there in their community, seeking comfort. We could see in the lower part of the screen a few moments ago, just somebody crying, overwhelmed with grief. This is something that this community is going to have to go through for quite some time.
Let's keep these pictures up when we interview our next guest, because I think that they are just, it says so much, right, these pictures?
It certainly does. We have Victor Fornari here, who is a psychiatrist at North Shore Medical Group, and I see you shaking your head. This is something that this community is going to go through for a very long time.
This is a devastating experience for the community, and actually the entire country and certainly the world is reacting with such sorrow and grief that something so senseless and so tragic could occur.
You know, this day is certainly going to be marked, at least for these kids. You know, what happened before this moment, you know.
Well, I think the lives of the families in Newtown will be marked before and after December 14th, 2012, because the reality is their world has shattered. And this kind of a traumatic experience will change these individuals.
What do you suggest, doctor, for families? I know when my 3-year-old came in this morning and I was watching television, getting the latest, and I turned it off immediately. But my older kids, I talked to several times today, and you know, they wanted to say so much, and they wanted to know why did this happen, and what are we doing about it, and making sure, of course, it doesn't happen on their campus.
Well, I think it's probably a good idea not to overexpose children, adolescents to too much of the media. Now, of course, today with technology, everyone
on all the war games and video games, right?
No, but also between technology, everyone is hooked in all the time.
They know what's going on.
They know what's going on. So I think the best thing is to listen to what their questions are, ask them what they understand, find out what they're asking about, and then reassure them, because the most important thing right now is the adults around the kids need to provide reassurance, comfort, and a sense that things are going to be okay, because right now the children really are looking for our support.
And you also say don't offer too much information, don't give too many details.
Well, I think you want to take the child's lead. You want to ask them, what is it that you're asking? And then you want to answer in a simple, reassuring way, not to provide graphic details that may be more than really what they're asking for.
And do you need to curtail your message differently for younger kids versus older kids?
Well, I think for younger kids, you really want to provide them with a lot of love and support, look at them, be with them, offer them lots of reassurance. I think right now, parents and children need to spend time together. Even if you're doing solitary activities, be in the same room together, because right now people are feeling vulnerable and we need support.
I suppose it's better timing that there's a weekend ahead of us so that parents can actually spend the time and they don't have to go forced back into the classroom where the teachers are really. Before you answer that question, because you shook your head, yes, let's just listen in a little bit to what they're saying. Governor Dan Malloy just walked in as well, and let's listen to this ceremony.
Families that have been so horribly affected by this event. Show us how we can heal and how we can help them heal. I have great faith and love for this community. I know we are a good and gentle place, and we will somehow manage this horrible, horrible event. But we need to do this together, and we truly need to wrap our arms in love and support around those families who have lost a child in this horrible way. So I thank you all for being here. I knew that you would, because I have such great confidence in this community. The struggle that lies ahead of us is substantial. So we're going to need to be together and understand that we have a long road ahead of us to ease this pain and somehow go forward in this kind and gentle place that I know we are. We're privileged to have with us tonight Governor Dan Malloy, who has spent the day with us as well at the fire station and in other places trying to help resolve some of the issues around this tragedy. Governor Malloy would like to make some comments as well. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Monsignor, thank you very much for opening this very beautiful church so that we might, in a communal way, find solace in one another as a result of the unspeakable having occurred in this community. People's children, brothers and sisters, were taken from them. People's spouses, those teachers and administrators, were taken from us. Yet we stand in a church, and many of us today in the coming days will rely upon that which we have been taught and that which we inherently believe, that there is faith for a reason, and that faith itself is God's gift to all of us. In these times of troubles and travail, when the unthinkable happens in our very midst, our faith is tested. Not just in the religious sense, not just necessarily our faith in God, but our faith in community, in who we are and what we collectively are. And it's in so many ways permissible to have those thoughts and those doubts about who we are and what community represents. But then we turn to understand as we turn around this room and recognize our friends and our neighbors, those we have done things for and those who have done things for us. This is a great and beautiful community, located in a great and beautiful state, in a great and beautiful nation. In the coming days and in the coming weeks, I will pray that you all embrace one another, that you lift one another up, that you understand the difficulties that you collectively will undergo. Keep in your prayers the children who lost their lives today. Keep in your prayers the adults who lost their lives today. Understand that a test is just that which we rise to and answer and respond to. In the coming days, as many of us prepare to celebrate the birth of Christ, understand that too will bring sorrow as we think about these instances that have happened so close to those days. But that too will pass and be overcome. In all of our prayers and the prayers and hopes of all of the public officials who have assembled here today and in the presence of your great select person, I bring and extend the condolences of the entirety of this state to you, the members of this community. May God bless you. May God bless our children who are with us today and those who were taken away. And may God bless the adults who lost their lives today. Thank you.
And you were just listening to a candlelight vigil where Governor Dan Malloy was speaking at St. Rose of Lima Church and talking about how people are trying to find solace in one another, that today is a day that people lost their brothers.